Hi, welcome to High Growth with HTDC. I'm your host, Cindy Matsuki. And this is where we talk about all things innovation, entrepreneurship, manufacturing, and technology. And there's so many amazing things going on in Hawaii, and there's some cool projects. And my guests today are Karl Chang and Tsurumi Hamasu, CEO and CFO of WaySine Technologies.
Right.
And I just wanted to put a shout out there that WaySine is actually a graduate company of the Manila Innovation Center Incubation Program. Yay!
Yay.
Good job, you guys. Thanks so much for coming today.
Thank you.
So I don't know if a lot of people have heard about WaySine. So can you tell us a little bit about what it is and how it
Yeah,
started?
I'll tell you about WaySine. So WaySine is an idea of Karl's, and the idea is to put real-time information on every bus stop. So what does that mean, to put real-time arrival information at every bus stop? So you can look at the sign as if you were at the airport, and you can see when your bus is coming.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, so basically, the bus, it's so uncertain, especially when there's traffic, and you really want to know when it's coming. You look up, you look at the way sign, it tells you when the bus is coming. But to put it on a bus stop, it's not like you can put it in, it's not in a building. Sometimes bus stops are way out on in the middle of nowhere. And so Karl has made it so that it's solar powered, it's radio operated, completely wireless.
Wow.
It's out in the boonies, so it has to stand up to wind and storms. And so it's small, compact, and you want to be able to put these out quickly, so you don't have to have contractors out there for hours and hours.
There's very little infrastructure involved.
No infrastructure. It literally goes on the top of a bus stop pole.
That's amazing.
So it is amazing, and it's when Karl talks about it, as you'll hear, it's a multi-faceted problem that he's had to solve with an elegant solution, and so the WaySign is Karl's elegant solution.
We have pictures of it, I think, if we want to take a look at what a WaySign looks like. Oh.
Yeah, okay, so there's a picture of the WaySign. So you can see it's very clear lettering. Actually, it's the American Disabilities Act has a requirement that the letters are at least 2 inches tall. So this meets
they look pretty big.
American Disabilities Act standards. And you can kind of see the solar panels. They form a little roof on the top of the sign, and actually the sign kind of looks down at you, so that even if it's on a high pole, you can still read it easily. Yeah, and the top of the sign is a placard there, and basically people can use it for signage, as the bus has decided to do, or advertising in other places. Another important thing about the signs that I wanted to point out is that they fit these perforated 2x2 square poles. And these poles are especially used for bus stops in many places around the country.
Like a standard almost.
Because blind people can find them, and they feel that they're square, but the holes, and they know it's a bus stop. They can often look for the braille or the raised numbering, and they know what bus stop they're at. And so basically, those are standard bus stop poles. Those are standard way signs. We want them everywhere.
I love it. I never knew that. That's really interesting. And then I was going to ask Karl, how did you come up with the idea? How did it start?
Well, actually, I didn't come up with the idea. It was, I worked many years ago with the head of the bus system in Oahu Transit Services. That's Roger Morton. He and I worked in the same office before he had a job working for the bus company. We wrote this state energy plan and the enabling, we were working for a consultant firm. We calculated all the mathematical energy savings that's possible for various actions by the government, by private industry, to how much energy can be saved. So Roger and I were the people who actually computed those numbers before there was even an energy office. So that we sort of formed a mutual admiration society, and he rose all the way to the top of the bus company, which is a several $100 million a year business, and he's been there for many, many decades. And that in the same time, I went on to become a co-founder of Verifone, which created the credit card machines which are used all over the world, 70% of the world's credit card machines made by Verifone.
Wow.
So that I helped to design the unit so that it was able to take on the entire world by reducing the cost by a factor of 4 and also improving its performance and reliability.
Wow.
So originally, many people have seen over in Hawaii, there was some large LED-based bus signs that's over here.
Mm-hmm.
Those were made by some European companies that charge $30,000 for each one of the bus stops, and it has to be plugged into the AC, and it's just very difficult to put together and maintain. So Roger was hoping that someone would come out with a unit that be inexpensive enough so it can be put on every bus stop at some point, and that he asked me because he said after nobody was responding to his request, so that he said, I know somebody who know how to do this.
Karl
So
could do it.
Karl, he called me up almost like a joke. He said, can you do this? And the butt bit me. So
Wow.
I started doing it, and it was more complicated than I thought. But I was retired, and then I didn't have anything to do, so to speak. And this is
Sure,
an
so you said
intellectual
sure.
challenge. I said, sure, I'd try it. And one thing led to another, and this is about 4 years later, a little over 4 years ago when we started this thing.
Wow.
And that last few years, we have actually put it together. And there's one thing that also led me on to do this, is I asked one of my good friend who said when she was young and she was very poor, and she had to take bus to work.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the worst feelings that she said she had is that when the bus is not coming, when she wants to come, and that she doesn't know the bus will ever come on time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's afraid that she would lose her job if she doesn't make it, make to work on time.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I have talked with a number of people. There's definitely that feeling with people who are
They
bus
study
riders.
it. They study it. They call it anxiety, waiting anxiety.
Really?
And these studies that are done by the American Public Transit Association say that people feel that they're waiting 13% longer
If they
than
don't know.
if they don't know. And so when you give them the information, it's actually like the wait is shorter because they can relax. And it's
That's
a
amazing.
completely different experience.
It's also, if you really think about this, when you take an airplane or you take a train or you take go to the main bus station, you would not ever consider the possibility that there's a sign that is not there, no schedule. I mean,
that you
only
wouldn't know when it's coming.
that's only happened in Italy, So what happened is, but when you do this, you want to have a sign, you want it to be accurate. You demand it. But, this, in American societies, is one of the very few places where people are not given that information. In some ways, the bus riders can rightfully think that they're treated as a third or fourth class citizen in that regard. And I think it is, in a way, we should do something about that. That's one of the motivations which kept me going to make sure that we can actually deliver a system
That's great.
that can reach.
I lived in
everywhere.
London for 15 years before coming back to Hawaii, and I had a car, but it then sat on the side of the road and decrepitated because I would just take public transit everywhere. It was more convenient. I was there when they started putting the real-time signage up in London, and I
Okay.
found myself taking the bus more often because it says, oh, my bus is coming in 4 minutes. I'll wait 4 minutes. I don't have to, go on the
Yes.
tube or get into a taxi or basically call a friend to pick me up. I know the bus is coming, 4 minutes, I'm happy to wait. So it just transforms the way you think about riding the bus. The information's there, you don't have to look on your phone or even think about it.
So this
You
is
just-
something that'll increase ridership.
Oh, we
Absolutely.
think so. We have 20 signs up in Honolulu right now. Some of them in Kapalama. There's a few on Dillingham, on King Street. There's one in front of the state capitol at the Eternal Flame. And we got some data from the bus. They, thankfully gave it to us. And we were able to compare it. They gave us the data for our bus stops, and then they told us for the same period what the data for the entire bus was.
Okay.
So that we're looking at ridership. So we want to know if we improve ridership, because we really hope to do that. And after some analysis, we were able to see that our 20 bus stops had a 1% improvement in ridership, even though the bus's ridership for the same period fell by 3%, and it fell 2 or 3% because the economies picked up, price of gas fell, and a few less people rode the bus. But on our stops, the number of riders actually went up. So we were really happy to see that, and we think that, and we've talked to people. We went out and we talked to people who are looking at the signs, and they like it. They wish that the signs that they see in Honolulu were in Waipahu or in the country, where they can see it from home and also get the information on the way into work as well as going home from work.
That's great.
Also, once, if and when the HART is put together, the train system, they would like to synchronize the buses so that the bus schedule meet the train, in a predictable way, so that people can easily go from one to the other.
Imagine, it'll make a big difference. Imagine going to Ala Moana Center on the train, getting off, and you'd still need to go on to Waikiki or Diamond Head or wherever you're going, and your bus has just left because the schedule said, it needs to leave on time, which it does. The bus is considering a different plan, whereby the train arrives, and you get on the bus, and the bus goes every 12 minutes or so. And so rather than having an idea where you're on the schedule, it goes with the people. I mean, it takes a completely different type of technology. You have to know where the buses are. You have to keep them separated apart. On the other hand, you as a rider, you don't know when the bus is going to arrive. So having the way signs available so that you can look up and see when the bus is arriving, if it's 10 minutes or 2 minutes, it means something. It's you can relax, you can go grab a coffee, or just sit and wait.
The sign, you can even talk about the train schedule from outside the train station.
Oh, I see.
Our idea is to put if you're in Pearl City and you're traveling to that Pearl City rail station, on the Palisades or the Pearl City stops, it will say when the next train is due, so you can see ahead when your next train will be coming. And similarly for the bike share, we have an idea with the bike share bid just went out. We have an idea with one of the providers to put the bus stop signs, our way signs at the bus stops, and when you get off the bus, you can see if there's a bike available at the bike share. Just walk over and grab a bike. So it's trying to fulfill this idea of multimodal transit, which is so important for Hawaii.
Yeah, and that's such a bigger picture than just a bus sign. Like it's a whole transportation system enabler.
Yeah, it's an enabler. It's a communication device. It's it's advertising not for something, but for public transit. And in times of hurricane or tsunami, if we have these signs all over Waikiki or in the areas of the inundation zone, it can also give emergency messages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that. I'm curious to see like how the whole thing is controlled, if you can say. But we're going to take a quick break. My guests today are Karl Chang and Tsurumi Hamasu of WaySine. This is High Growth with HTDC on ThinkTech Hawaii, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Ethan Allen. I host Likeable Science on ThinkTech Hawaii, and I do this because I care about science literacy in Hawaii. I want to spread the understanding that science is a vital and interesting part of everyone's life. I want to make sure the broadest possible spectrum of people understand the beauty and the value of science and realize that science plays out each and every day of their lives. I want you to understand that science is fun. So we bring onto this show each week guests who are scientists, from astronomers to zoologists, and we talk about what they do and how they do it. But most importantly, we talk about why you should care about their work, why you should see that their work has value and impact on your life. So I hope you'll join us Fridays, 1 p.m. here on ThinkTech Hawaii. You can watch us via live stream. You can watch us recorded on Olelo, and you can see us each week. We hope you'll join us.
Hi, welcome back. This is High Growth with HTDC. I'm your host, Cindy Matsuki. Today I'm talking to Karl Chang and Tsurumi Hamasu of WaySine. And they've got this really awesome new product that's being piloted.
Yes, we're piloting it in Honolulu. We have
Different
20
areas.
signs up, and we're talking to many different cities in California. In fact, I just set a sign out to Florida, one sign.
Nice.
So yeah, that's going, and we have a like a top 3 reseller of bus equipment, a global reseller who are interested in
Wow.
selling our signs. So
That
it's
is
really
great.
exciting for us.
Yeah, you guys are moving. How long is the pilot project going to run for?
It was supposed to be for 6 months, but we've been able to extend it for 11 months.
Oh, good.
So yeah, we're going to be testing some different things. We've got the signs working. We've got great customer feedback. So
That's
riders
great.
actually call in and tell us, you know, this is what's with the sign. Here's what I think. Please, would you make the lighting at night brighter?
Oh,
You know, and
good.
they're really
Very
helpful.
good.
And what we're also going to be doing is putting up some Audible signs. So Karl and our team have created a sign that actually says
Speakers.
when the next bus is coming. And so
great.
that will go for, that will be going up shortly. It's for people who are blind and, you know, elderly who might not be able to see the sign. So it's a really exciting product for us. And a city, one of the big cities in California are interested in this sign in particular.
Great.
So we have,
That
just
is-
crossing our fingers all
Yeah,
of that
that's
comes
great
through for us.
news. And so what happens when that, like a big order comes in? Are you ready?
Yes, we've been working on the manufacturing. We have the only, we're operating the only pick-and-place machine that is for integrated circuit PC board assembly.
Wow, in
here
Hawaii?
in Hawaii.
I gotta
We
see
also,
Yeah,
we
you should
have
see
it
it.
here. We were able to assemble some amazing things, especially like these LED lights, which is lighting up the studio. We can do that probably better than anybody else.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we are, right now, we are manufacturing in the 50 to 100 in the prototype quantity. We're figuring out how to make it efficiently so we can ramp up, have a production capacity up to 1,000 unit.
Wow.
And that requires some additional equipment and a skill, which I believe the state is very interested in, and that we're perhaps forming a consortium with other manufacturing people who are interested in electronic manufacturing to help to make it reality. But we certainly had an interesting head start. We had made many mistakes and corrected hopefully almost all of them, and that
That's great.
it's interesting when you can actually see components going down, you know, like thousands of components per hour.
Wow.
You know, maybe even more.
Oh,
So-
I want to come see that.
You have to see it. I had never seen it before I started working with Karl. I don't know if you know what a pick-and-place machine
No.
is, but basically it's a big machine, and it has like a little
Vacuum
grabber, a
pickup.
little vacuum pump. So it sucks up, you know, the tiny little pieces that go on a
circuit
board, and so it precisely puts them all onto a PCB board, a printed circuit board that has been soldered with silkscreen. It's like silkscreen. It's a
Wow.
metal screen. It just puts the right amount of soldering on it, and then you have this little
Like a robot.
machine. It's a
Like a little
robot.
robot
It is a
arm.
robot. It's like a robot, and it changes the size of the like I say a straw, like you're putting it through a straw, to depend on how big the piece is, and it's precision manufacturing. It's incredible. It's incredible.
It's like I would say, like a very fancy robotic sewing machine. Instead of using strings, they use electronic components.
Huh.
And it can go several components per second when
Wow.
it's going fast. It's almost buzzes along.
Mm.
It requires some you know, it has to be done just right, because otherwise
Oh,
it
yeah,
wouldn't work.
it's not gonna work.
And that, but this is how almost all the equipment now you would take for granted, like your smartphones are manufactured. And you, if you adjust it right, the quality control can improve hugely, because it doesn't get tired. So it does the same thing over and over and over
Wow,
again.
so that's a first for Hawaii.
Well, this machine's been around for,
Sounds like it.
the one we're using has been around for some time, but we are gonna improve it so
Oh, great.
it'll be more
And
effective.
what has been the biggest challenge as far as building WaySine? Has it been the manufacturing, or?
Well, technically speaking, I think everything was more difficult than one thought. Because a number of things that happens. One is that and the manufacturing has to be literally zero defect in order to, in today, everybody expect perfection. And that goes for not just the hardware that you manufacture, but it goes for everything you do, which means that your software and your operating system and the personnel all has to do things perfectly. And as a Japanese, Japanese did a transformation in the 1970s, which they used, followed the advice of this American engineer and Deming, the system, they created a system called zero defect, which is something which we did back in the days of my previous company, Verifone. So we were able to go from a lousy manufacturer to be almost perfect manufacturer. So we have to do the same. And that's hard. And
That is
that in the
amazing.
operational sense, you had to do the same thing.
And
'Cause-
we're small, you know, we're just a few people. And if you think about, you know, as we talk to more customers, you know, everybody can imagine what a real-time bus stop sign is, but in everybody's head, it's slightly different. And so, whereas here in Hawaii, you know, we put the next three buses on our signs. Another city will want only two or one. Some cities just want, like we have our headliners running on the signs. In some cities, they don't want that. In some cities, they want to have different types of messages
So it's all
coming through.
customizable.
Yeah, they want to customize it. And so
That's
we
great.
have to imagine how people want to customize it, because it's not always at the tip
The
of our
same.
imagination either. And so talking to a lot of people
That's great.
gives us an idea of, you know, what kind of flexibility we actually have to have.
need.
But, you know, we didn't start off with the idea of all of these things, so it's like, oh, we're having to catch up with where we are commercially. As a, you know, we had the product, and we're ready to go out with a certain idea, and then
But then
we
you
went
get
to
all
the,
this
we
other
were invited
feedback.
to an event in Houston, this APTA Expo. And they were looking for innovation, so we went and presented, and we had
Great.
so many. So we had about 80 leads at the end of that
Wow.
at the end of that conference, and you know, all of the
It was worth
ideas
it.
coming back to us, like how is this going to work in Dakota? You know, North and South Dakota, where it's freezing. What are you going to do about the batteries? We bury our batteries right now. I mean, Karl has so much to think about now. Instead of having this problem, which is a bus stop sign, it's just grown in every
But
dimension.
That's great. That means there's a lot of interest.
Actually, it's not quite that difficult for me, because I've done, see, what the approach in the semiconductor industry in customization is, what you want to achieve is semi-custom. In other words, you make it look like they're tailoring
Some
to it,
customization,
but you
but-
have a preset of selection of what I call a Chinese menu of options, which, you know, by having a permutation combination of several different objects, you give people the
It feels
choice.
custom.
And the thing is, yeah, so you achieve a semi-custom system. And
Smart.
we tested, you know, for instance, the low temperature thing she mentioned. I had one of my technicians get an ice box, and we would throw a chunk of dry ice in it, ran the temperature down to minus 40 degree C
Still
and
running?
Fahrenheit, worked right
That's
almost
great.
to that, and it recovered at minus 30.
That's
So the
great.
thing is that that's colder than most places that you ever have to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, that is great. So it'll survive. It'll survive in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I,
yeah.
It's surviving in London. I have a unit in my flat in London that's still
great.
going.
I hope to see them all over the place.
Thank you.
Soon.
The
So that
hardest
is
thing,
great.
the hardest thing on this whole, believe it or not, is to make sure this thing will survive, not just a temperature swing, but the fact in the long winters, we're talking about Vancouver, and
there's no sun.
There's no sun for months at a time.
Oh.
So that's the way,
The
that's really the challenge, to make it work on the north side of the building in Vancouver and Seattle in winter. So we think we have it, but
Great.
provided that people don't say, do this, do that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
do every
yeah.
other thing.
But that's good. I mean, this is the perfect place for a pilot. So I'm glad you guys are running one.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with me here today and telling us about WaySine. And I'm excited to see what's going to come out next for WaySine.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Cindy.
you.
Yeah, very exciting news. So my guests today have been Karl Chang and Tsurumi Hamasu of WaySine. And check out their pilot, WaySigns, around Palama and Dinningham. And we hope to see them all around the whole island, the whole state, and other places. That'd be great. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll be right back. This is High Growth with HTDC on ThinkTech Hawaii.
Hi, I'm Donna Blanchard. I'm the host of Center Stage here on ThinkTech Hawaii. Center Stage airs every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, and of course you can check out our archives on YouTube or on ThinkTech Hawaii anytime you like. Why should you do that? Because this is an arts show that I believe is making a difference in lives. We talk with artists of various ilk. We talk with painters and writers, playwrights, novelists, poets, sculptors, dancers, you name it, directors, actors, of course. And we don't only talk about what people do, but we talk about how they do it. And my favorite part of the conversation, we talk about why they do it. And it's really common on this show to hear people say, wow, I didn't think about it that way. And it's very common to hear people afterwards who have seen the show say the same thing. And I hear all the time that people are inspired by the conversations that we have. So why don't you join us and be inspired too? That's Center Stage on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. We'll see you Center Stage.
Hi, Jay.
Hi, Keith.
My name's Keith Bettinger.
I knew that.
And I'm the host of ThinkTech Asia.
I knew that too.
Here on ThinkTech.
Fabulous. You got a great show going, Keith.
Thank you very much. And for our viewers out there that are interested in ThinkTech Asia, it airs every Tuesday from 4 to 4:45, and it can be accessed online at thinktech.com.
Yeah, so what kind of guests you like?
Well, we have a number of guests from academia, from practitioners of international affairs. Sometimes we have military officials. Sometimes we have public officials on the show. And our goal, we try to talk about current issues in South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Asia, and Central Asia, all throughout the Asian realm in more depth than you would find in traditional mainstream
That's the
media.
difference, isn't it?
Exactly.
That you're reaching out beyond what ordinary news media would do.
Right.
That's why we like you so much.
We're trying to provide a thinking person's perspective, an intelligent perspective on what's going on, and we're both sides of the story, or even when there's more than two sides, we try to cover every angle. And I think that's one of the big benefits that we provide here at ThinkTech, is it's a really innovative source of educational programming for the people of Hawaii.
You're great, Keith. You are a great host. You got a great show going on. I watch it every week.
Thanks very much.
Why don't you guys watch it every week too, okay?
4:45 to 4 to 4:45 every Tuesday.
This is Alice Lee Hagan, host of ThinkTech Hawaii Business Education Spotlight. My show here at ThinkTech Hawaii is every Thursday from 3 to 4 in the afternoon. I bring in interesting guests from Hawaii, the mainland, and hopefully international guests in the future. Do join us on Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. ThinkTech Hawaii Business Education Spotlight. Aloha.
Hi, aloha. My name is Chris Leatham, and I host a show called The Economy and You. The show plays every Wednesday at noon, and on my show, I bring on guests who are interested or working in the technology space. And so I'd like you to come and watch the show and learn with me about all the sort of exciting things that we're doing in Hawaii to build and grow our economy ecosystem. So I'd like to say aloha, and I look forward to seeing you on the show. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jay Fidel. That's Ted Ralston. You know, Ted is the host of Where the Road Leads. It shows every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. It's about technology. It's about how people collaborating and solve problems with modern technology. It's where the road leads. We all know that. We should all be listening. Join us there, 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday. Now, what about that do you agree with?
All of it.
I knew he'd say that. Aloha. Say aloha.
Aloha.
Good.
Aloha, my name is Paul Jackson, better known as PJ, and my local interest is in sports. I have my own sports radio show at KWAI AM 1080 that you can stream live. I also have my own website, pjsportsradio.com. We have live guests in studio, and we talk about discussions and topics that everyone wants to know locally here on the islands. We cover everything from surfing to basketball to whatever's going on locally, sports-wise. We try to do our best and cover the topics in depth as much as we can. Once again, thank you for joining PJ here on Hawaii Sports Update. Mahalo.
Aloha, my name is Miley Scarpino and I'm the host of the Empower Hour. If you're interested in health, nutrition, fitness, here on the island of Oahu, want to learn more about places to train at or different trainers available, then watch my show on Fridays at 3. We have a great time and I hope that you'll come join us. Much aloha, now go get swole.
What's that?
Hi. Welcome back. This is High Growth with HTDC. I'm your host, Cindy Matsuki. We are on ThinkTech Hawaii. And my next guest for today is John O'Malley, founder of Planet Sun. Yay, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again,
Thanks for
Cindy.
coming. Yeah, so you've been on the show before telling us all about how to protect ourselves from skin cancer. You have a whole line of sun care products.
Yes, ma'am.
But you've got some exciting news to share with us today.
We do. We have worked on a project for about a year now,
Uh-huh.
and we are getting ready to ramp up to produce our UV protective clothing.
Nice.
A new line of apparel we've got here in the studio.
Because you had the sleeves before, right?
Yes, these are UV sleeves. So this is the beginning.
Okay.
So
okay.
you've got a sleeve here that protects your arm, about 99% UV protection.
Uh-huh.
So that's a good piece of gear, but that's
start.
the beginning, right? So the rest of the attire is now a shirt, and we've developed 4 different shirts, 2 for land sports and 2 for ocean sport. Triathlon, surfing, paddling, even swimming as well. So the clothing has come a long way. The day and age of running in a cotton t-shirt is now over. There's actually materials in the market that not only block UV and heat, but also cool the skin.
Wow.
In fact, these sleeves and this shirt right here are made out of a material called ice fill that when you put it on your skin, it actually lowers your skin temperature by 3 to 5 degrees.
Wow.
And one thing that's fascinating too, for example, in the Ironman World Championship race in Kona, every year we go, there's more people now racing in long sleeve shirts. So the society is getting smarter about sun protection, and we need to, because the skin cancer rates have risen dramatically. And in fact, last year, the U.S. Surgeon General launched a call to action for all Americans to get with it against skin cancer.
Wow.
Yeah, so the clothing is one of the more effective ways to cover up and stay protected.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's a new material.
New technologies. In fact, the textile and fabric industry has evolved dramatically in the last 3 to 5 years. So
That's great.
it is. And even there's mesh now that's on the market that's actually breathable but also UV protective. So yeah, so again, the technology is making it to where, you know, we can actually go out and run our paddle
comfortably.
in a long sleeve shirt and feel cool
That's amazing.
and look cool and stay protected.
That is great. So I was going to ask you, so what is better about your line versus, because I've seen a lot of jerseys and
Yes, ma'am.
other things.
Well, first off, again, there's a lot of technology in the materials. And we have a team of 20 athletes that we sponsor that have left their mark on everything you see here. Triathletes, paddlers, adventure racers, ultra marathoners. So
Like
the design
extreme
elements,
sports.
what's that?
Extreme sports.
Crazy stuff, yeah. So these folks have had their mark made on the design. And what's unique about these products here too is that everything you see here is made in Hawaii. Yes, and we were really surprised to find that nobody else in Hawaii right now is making this type of clothing, let alone performance clothing.
In Hawaii.
In Hawaii. Most of what's being manufactured here, from what we found, is aloha attire, casual evening wear, muumuus, and bathing suits. So we found that pretty unique because Hawaii is an epicenter for many performance sports. You've got the World Championships of triathlon, both off-road, on-road, surfing, more of the bigger surf contests are here, but the World Championships for ocean canoe racing, outrigger canoe racing, surf ski, stand-up paddleboarding, they're all here. And many of the great athletes, that compete, and if they're not living here, they come here to train. So this is a perfect place to not only develop, but test and validate the clothing. And we've done that. And this has been about a year of effort here, you see, that's manifested into these 4 shirts for either land-based or ocean-based performance.
So they've been wearing them and testing them
We've been
out.
testing them out, yes, ma'am.
What is the difference between the land and the
Okay,
the
well,
water?
we've got 4 shirts. These are the 2 ocean sport shirts right here, if you guys can see those out there. This is a Rash Guard, made to go out and surf and paddle, and made for being in the water.
I love the print.
Thank you. This is a very special edition Polynesian print that we're releasing here for this collection. This Rash Guard here, what's unique about it is there's no underarm seam. So if you're trying to paddle a surfboard or a paddleboard, we're trying to eliminate friction and reduce chafing. The material also has a hydrophobic property, meaning it sheds water. So you take a splash and water will not absorb in as quick as other materials. So a traditional Rash Guard. There's another component in raglan sleeves, which are designed for more mobility. So if you're paddling, you're not being constrained or restricted. So that's a shirt we made for surfing and being in the water. Another shirt here we made for paddling that we call the Sunphibian. That's called the Sun Hydra Rash Guard, and this is the Sunphibian, where we added mesh here for breathability. So the mesh is added, with the understanding that you're going to be more on the top water, like you're paddling, you're not in the water as much as you would be with the
so you
Rash
get to
Guard.
breathe.
So breathability is important. And we added a pocket, 3-compartment zippered pocket with a keychain holder, so you can go out in the ocean and be able to get back to your car. So that's the ocean collection right there. And
great.
yes. See the land-based?
Yeah.
All right, great.
Interesting.
All right, so.
And so these are all based on the input from your athletes as far as how they should be
Exactly, and the need, here's really what, stimulated the process here. Sunscreen alone doesn't cut it. And we practice comprehensive sun care. And for example, riding a bike in an Ironman race, 124 miles. So, I'm sorry, 112 miles. So you're out there on the bike at mile 60, the last thing on your mind typically is trying to reapply sunscreen.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When you're hitting the wall and you're sweaty and you're just trying to make it through. So, and that gave birth to an idea like this. And most people, when they do triathlons, they race in a tank top. It's called a singlet. So this garment here we call the Sun Wing is designed to be worn literally over a tank top. And so you're protecting the arms, the shoulders, and the back, which are normally quite exposed. One option there is to wear sleeves, like I have on right now, a pair of UV sleeves.
But your shoulders are still exposed.
Yes, ma'am, exactly. You can see all the exposure there. So the Sun Wing is meant to be put on, and we did something unique here too by adding an adjustment fit adjustment where a lot of tank tops are not cut the same. So this allows you to cinch the garment closer to cover more of the torso.
Nice, and it's so fashionable.
It's made for guys too now, so, but it's functional. And you can take this and literally just pack it in a bike pocket. or your saddlebag when you're on the bike. And it's quick to dry and super comfortable. The other land-based top, this is called the Sun Multisport. We added mesh, and again, no underarm seam, so if you're running, you're not going to chafe as much. And we added a similar pocket as well with a very visible large zipper pull, so you can see it if you're running or moving out. And this shirt is made mostly in white, but we have the ability also to sublimate custom logos and team names and things of that nature. So again, I go back to the Ironman example. After you get off the 112-mile bike ride, you're getting ready for a full marathon. This is really neat.
You can just
And
go
again,
from the bike to running.
yeah, you can keep it on and go. And this is made of exclusively of the ice film material. So when this is on your skin, there's a cooling effect. The other thing I didn't mention either, the material not only blocks UV, but the energy from the sun that makes us hot is infrared, is IR. So this material also blocks IR.
Wow.
So you're protecting yourself from the sun by blocking UV. You're staying cool by blocking infrared, and the material has this really neat cooling property. So this is really kind of like the future of sun care.
That's great.
Instead of having to worry about reapplying.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So that's a good rundown on the apparel there. Right now.
Wow, and how did you decide to get onto Kickstarter?
Well, we thought it was a good idea. We looked at that before, and we're a 7-year company, and we're tired, but we're still fired up and motivated here. And we looked at Kickstarter, and it's like, this is a really good. We think it's a great thing, and there's a great marketing capability built into it, and it's also an opportunity for people out there to be part of it. And we're getting feedback from people that are on our Quick Starter page and saying, hey, I'm an outrigger canoe paddler, and I think we should add mesh here or put some elastic here, so people feel like they're part of the whole process.
That's great.
And of course they're contributing too, and we're very excited about that. Yes,
I think
ma'am.
it's a good product because it has a wide market appeal. So for Kickstarter, where you have a big audience, you're able to reach a lot of people.
We are,
So
and
that's great.
And there's the education part to it too. And if you watch our video, our movie, and you look at the campaign, there's a lot of education there as well on protection. And again, sunscreen is what most people think of when they think about sun care, but the clothing now is so advanced that it makes perfectly good sense.
I'm gonna have to take a look at that. And there's a really good video on your Kickstarter page.
It's great.
So tell us, how can we find your Kickstarter page?
Well,
Or
the
where can we
easiest
get
thing
more
to do,
information?
the easiest thing to do is just go to Kickstarter.com, and there's a big search, tag there. Just type in Planet Sun, and it'll pop right up. And the video, the cool thing about that too is we filmed it in Waianae, on the beautiful,
Nice.
very, very warm west side of Oahu, and it features all local athletes, many of the Planet Sun athletes, doing everything from paddling to cycling to surfing, and it's a really neat video. Yeah, really exciting, and it
It's a really
shows
good video.
the clothing in action.
That's great. Awesome.
Yep.
Congratulations. I'm looking forward to
Thank you.
your Kickstarter campaign. And for everybody out there, go to Kickstarter.com, search for Planet Sun, and get on and give. And then do you get some of the wear if you
can
support
be,
the Kickstarter campaign?
You sure do. You get back. Life's all about give and receive, right? So you can, you're going to get some really, really good pledge gifts, and part of them are, of course, being
Some of
among
the
the
clothes.
first group of people to own the clothing.
Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
So we will check that out. Thanks so much. My guest today has been John O'Malley from Planet Sun. Very exciting Kickstarter campaign. Thanks for joining me today.
I love it. Thank you
Great
so
to
much
have
for
you
having
back.
us.
And we will see you next time. This is High Growth with HTDC. I'm your host, Cindy Matsuki, and we are on ThinkTech Hawaii.